Welcome everyone to Hacking Infinity, the Eschaton. Uh, how is everybody?
Scene.
Alive.
Here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that everybody's doing so excellently. Sorry.
Such is life.
Yep.
Well, if things are like mediocre or horrible, I hope that this will provide a pleasant distraction.
We shall see. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's like everyone else is quiet. I'm like, yes, that would be
Sure.
lovely.
Yeah.
That would be fine. Yes.
It can't be avoided if you fill it with video games or RPGs. Remember that, kids?
Mhm.
I mean, that's a fine replacement for life, right?
Yeah.
It's adequate, anyway.
You play a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah. Other people's drama. That's fun.
Other people's problems are the easiest problems because it's just like, we'll just do the thing and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't they know how easy their problems are to solve? With the things that I know and can tell them on the internet? I'm glad I'm here on the internet to tell them how to solve their problems.
Let's not forget.
It's strange that they don't. There's no thanks for doing so.
Exactly, and you have to do it slightly sarcastically so they know you're friends with them, even if you've never talked to them before.
Because there's nothing better than perfect strangers telling you exactly how you should live.
That's why they're called
joy.
perfect strangers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All of that was wrong. Don't ever do that. That's bad.
Asterisk, quotation guards, underline, italics, bold.
Kids don't take that seriously.
Tell people when they're doing it wrong. It's your job.
No. I'm excited for this game.
Yeah.
Speaking of this game and not real life, super exciting.
So let me see. Where did we leave off?
We had
I got super low blood sugar and collapsed.
Yes.
Yeah. But
so I don't know, but I was in a boat that was not my boat. It was this guy's boat.
Mm-hmm. And there was a scene with you, but I don't remember what's gonna happen.
Yeah. We're definitely. I was definitely planning to open with Quasi. I think that we were going to go to you when migraine struck, and then and you were in like a cabin on Jakart's ship.
Sure, I think it might be a cabin / brig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just added negotiations to share information soon about those machines that I own now legally and don't have to pay back and can take apart.
By the way, as someone who's going to law school, I know enough about copyright law, just enough to know that actually might work. That was a devilishly good plan.
Yeah. I mean, when you're facing someone like Capstone, you have to win in a very small way that will just like stop them just enough. Just like delaying them. Like I'm sure they'll work around it, and I think I joked that my people found like the descendant of the person with the copyright and like wooed them with my adorableness. So Capstone will probably eventually sort that, but for now.
They'll probably woo them back with a lot of money and more.
Yeah, or they'll die mysteriously and their grandkid will take over.
And that was the man. I feel like so out of it, or not like out of it overall, but like that was the copyright on which machine?
A particular color of yellow.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, chroma key.
Yeah, the chroma key, a certain yellow chroma key, and that they agreed to just let me have the machines. They cleared my debt for those. But now, since I have the rights to the machine, since all of that nullified, I can use those machines as I will. And by as I will, I mean probably. I think we described like one of them in a block of ice, one of them on fire, one of them like in a kiddie pool, like like one of them in an anti-grav, like some of the like pinball balls in an anti-grav chamber. Like it's the various levels of technology testing. So you really have to get the spectrum.
Ooh, yes. So, are we actually ready to do like initial rolls to see how?
No.
Yeah, I actually remembered this time.
So let us do the rolling thing.
Okay. So
I suppose we could play the game by the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some flux there, but I mean, sure, let's do it that way. Just you know, just to be novel and to test things out.
Yeah.
So, Pteranodon, you have a group commander.
Oh no, I'm first.
Well,
I don't know how to do this.
So Quasi has you know, in theory, has a troop commander role as well, but and I suppose, yeah, I mean, but that's a little bit weirder. But
whoopsies.
But I think we'll make that role as well and see if it leads to anything interesting.
Sure. But what do I do? Where's button? What's happening? Okay, I'm old. I don't understand.
So on your character sheet in the first column, if you scroll down past stats to playbook moves, so they're just like click on the button, it should do the thing. Think.
I clicked it. What happened? Nothing.
There we go. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Nice.
There we are. Okay. I did it.
So,
I activate a surplus and a need. Oof.
So, under surplus, you've got your
I wish I could tell you what I got, but I have to scroll sideways to get.
Well, scientific inquiry. So a +1 to search the mindscape. You might want to like mark under search the mindscape. If you can scroll over there and open that up, there's like another place where you can bump up other mod so that you don't have to worry about remembering that you have that going on.
Fantastic.
And then you get to choose between nationalism and reprisals for the need that is activated. You're curious what those mean, and you know, what they specifically do. Under handouts, there's a surplus and need cheat sheet.
Yeah. All right. So my needs activate. Not all my needs.
Just one.
Sure. Sorry, my computer's having a bit of
Okay.
trouble,
Oh,
and
no
I'm trying
problem.
to
So
scroll
I'll read them off.
past all my surpluses. And also, Brad, I put in chat, but you're very quiet to me when you're faced away from your microphone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if that affects the folks on stream
Probably.
listening ability. All right. Yeah, I can still hear you. It's just quieter. Like,
Not good. Okay, not good audio quality. I will try to at least like lean into the microphone when I'm both looking away from it to read something in the far screen. Okay, so
pretend you're on a date and you're trying to be like super cool, like pointing at something, but like lean in so you're a little closer.
that would definitely be pretending. Okay, so for reprisals, an NPC organization comes at your.
Hang on. Are we like not all on a date right now? Sorry, I
No,
thought this is like a.
Pretend you're on a physical date.
Oh, okay. I thought
okay.
I thought this was dating.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Please.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. I think I put my things
sadly,
in the lower thing.
Yeah, sadly, over the internet, none of us is going to put out.
I mean, there's some things I could tell you about the internet, but I'll wait till after the game because I feel like we can get a little sidetracked.
Okay.
That situation.
Fair enough.
We should have a nice chat. Technology has advanced quite a bit.
So, reprisals.
Speaking of reprisals.
An NPC.
Infinity won a cyber.
Hacking Infinity, the Cybertron.
Is that me, or am I hearing some buzzing out there? Anyway, go on.
Okay. So an NPC organization comes at your organization full force, is reprisals. Okay. And then nationalism, your organization immediately makes a move of the MC's choice upon another organization, and further such actions are possible when an MC move is triggered.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna have to do nationalism. Like, do we have to do the scene before other people roll, or can we do the rolls and then work out the scenes?
I think let's. I mean, I wanted to.
I want to get other people playing the game too. So
yeah, for sure.
If certain things trigger, they could interact with each other before we.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay.
I want to make a note that nationalism is going to go off. Either
can't forget about nationalism.
Yeah, either introducing your scene or very early on.
Sure. Because I kind of feel like just the way things were going before, like there is going to be a move against a certain organization, but like it also says MC's choice, so you could say it's somewhat totally different than what's happening. So you can make Tiny Deer fight Quasi.
That's gonna go well.
Yeah, maybe I can find an excuse to do that. I'm not gonna look for one.
Yeah, those are my two things that trigger.
Okay. So, and then Quasi, if you could do the same, and yeah, again, it's weird in that you don't necessarily have an organization, but maybe there's something going on. We'll see.
Organization
popping out of the open now. So my surplus is also scientific inquiry, and so I'll also get a temporary bonus to that. And my need is obligation, so if my dudes do show up, then they're going to have clocks for me.
Ah, yes. Okay. Let's to remind myself. Oh yeah, okay. So they, if they show up, or they will want you to complete a long-term project this session. That one's really hard. I think maybe it needs modified because it's really easy to just not have the time to complete a long-term project.
Oh, also, Quasi, is today going to be your last game with Eschaton?
I don't know if it will be today. It might be next week or the week after, depending on just how things go.
Okay. I didn't know if we needed to drive this ship into the sun as quickly as possible if we had some leisure time.
No.
Okay, and
We'll see.
yeah, that's But okay, so it's sort of up in the air whether or not you'll be able to make 1 or 2 more weeks.
Like next week, I'll definitely be there. The week after is like maybe I'll know closer to the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
I'm kind of in the same situation. So
okay,
especially with the news, I got the news. I got the news in the morning.
but we do have, but we definitely do have 1 more session. Okay.
Today and tomorrow.
Okay.
By tomorrow would be next week.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's important because if we just had today, then I think I'd have to do or I would be inclined to try and do much more tying things up. Whereas as it is, just let it roll. So, and let me see. So, regional intelligence director does not have this, beginning of the session. How's your organization doing?
What?
Yeah. Your spooks are dedicated to the cause.
Yeah.
For now, automatically.
Yeah.
Shaking my head.
A little bit of power to gaming that I know.
So OP.
I was gonna say that the scene ended with us having our agreement, and then I made a roll that failed, which was an infiltration roll, and then we had to put a pin on that. Yeah,
that was awesome. From my perspective, I mean, in general, I want you all to succeed and do cool stuff, but but failed rolls are a lot of fun.
But the challenge.
Yes.
Failing forward.
Yeah. Okay.
This game's like failing sideways. It's not quite as bad as something, but
also it's in space, so that's confusing.
Yeah.
So, Quasi, you're in the brig slash being a temporary guest in the cabin. Well, I guess we should specify that. I think it was just a well, I don't recall.
Okay.
Kurt, why don't you tell me?
We brought him in after a somewhat confusing conversation. At least on one side of the conversation was confused.
One of you surrendered.
Yeah, one of us surrendered a weapon, but still were wearing a power armor. We're brought into a cabin, and I had a discussion with, or Jakut had a discussion with Quasi, and then stepped out for a moment to take a call. And it's a room, has food, water, whatever he requires. It's made it clear that he's a guest, but that certain procedure must be followed. that he has any problems or any questions, he can ask the gentleman outside for any assistance. The well-armed, at least to them, they're well-armed individuals outside. Such food, water, etc. Place to rest if place that we give him is not good enough, that sort of thing. And then I will be coming back in a short order. And what else? Oh, and I got the news that that Quasi was a person of interest and could be useful if could be convinced to work with us. But that happened after our initial, talk off screen, which basically was, setting the scene. Unless Quasi has anything to add to it.
No, that is how I recall things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as you're cooling your heels as a guest, you do notice on your Mindscape queue there's a call from Quasi.
Oh no.
This dimension's Quasi?
I suppose, I will answer it. Buongiorno?
Prime? Is that you?
Depends who's asking. Probably, maybe. Who's that?
This is Quasi of a regional subcommandant on New Vegas.
Oh. This might sound like an odd question, but how fond of me are you? If say 1 is you want to set fire to me while I'm alive, and 10 is that I'm a minor deity,
Well, I suppose that depends.
Roll a 1d10.
Go on!
Chaos.
If you are the prophesied Prime returned and are prepared to lead us into the glorious future, then you are to be honored and worshipped. But if otherwise, you are a blasphemy who must be sacrificed?
Oh, well, I think it's probably both. I think I should probably lead you to glory and also be sacrificed. Where are we on the waging war against people for no good reason? Where are we standing on that at the moment?
I don't understand. What do you mean, no good reason?
Like, say, if it was written in a very old book.
Well, I suppose if you consider the the prophecies of the goddess not to be an appropriate reason to take action, then
Oh,
is this
right.
a test? Are you testing me?
Yes, you're doing medium. Ooh. Anyway. Is the goddess in the heavens or here with you on Earth? Earth.
Well, you are supposed to herald her return, yes?
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, yes. I'll be over at some point.
End call.
Okay.
Click.
See ya. Don't want to be you. But in case of Quasi,
They are.
So is there anything else you would like to do?
Gee, I mean, yes, but I don't want to pray. I suppose, can I like call for can I like call for the director?
oh yeah.
So I guess I'm like bring bring.
Mm-hmm.
But buongiorno?
Yes. Is there an appellative I should use for you, Mr. Mrs. Mix, Sir,
Oh,
Madame?
not
Overlord?
really. I'm sort of in between those at the moment.
Overlord
I'm
of
by
the
default male, but
just to clear the air. If it's too much trouble, I just wanted to make sure.
no,
that
no,
I
it's fine. I'm just, I've got kind of like an insectoid internal thing going on, so it's just,
shared matrix.
Anyway, sure. I mean, thank you for asking, by the way. But no, just quasi is fine. Look, here's the thing. Do you remember the whole sex death cult I briefly mentioned?
Yes, that was very important in a conversation. Yes, I recall. Yes.
Yeah, it turns out that they're in New Vegas. Who'd have thought?
Seems appropriate.
Sure, I kind of want to let them know that their life is a lie, but I've been on the receiving end of that conversation before, and I reacted very poorly and violently. And well, you're gonna love this. They're all clones of me with my old memories, so I'm imagining they will also react as poorly and violently.
So
I mean, I can wade through like 50 of them. I do it all the time, but they'll be brought back and then it's a problem. So I'm hoping, it can be resolved a bit more smoothly.
And how can I help in this effort?
I'm not sure precisely. I wasn't maybe asking for help, more just sharing information.
Oh, that's very helpful of you.
But,
Talking about
I'm
talking
open
about
to suggestions.
New Vegas. Now that you brought it up, we do have some interest in New Vegas. There seems to be a corporation operating from there, I believe. He makes a face of checking because I'm going to make a face of checking. Capstone Messaging operates from New Vegas, if I'm not mistaken.
They're just Capstone. Messaging Capstone was a secret thing they were doing.
Oh,
yeah,
Capstone, yes.
Yeah, or Capstone ISM.
Mm-hmm. And has your fellow Quasi have run-ins with this organization?
Corporation? I'm not sure. I mean, back in my parts, they're kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Did you, as the Quasi present here, have you had any interactions with this corporation?
Oh yes, I've blown up their ships and murdered their people and been paid by them to blow up other ships and murder other people.
Hmm. So you have no disinclination to continue the blowing up and murdering of their people.
Oh well, I think the whole pre-scarcity mindset's quite dated, really.
Hmm. And problematic, perhaps. Do you
I
agree?
concur. Yes.
Well, it seems that we have a common goal then.
I've
Um,
been looking for someone to kill for good reasons. This sounds perfect for me.
Perhaps your fellow quasi would also lead to need some encouragement instead of fighting you, wading through them. Perhaps since they have your same memories and remember that Capstone is a corporate disrupted entity in this universe and other universes, that perhaps they may be motivated to also uh, engage violently against Capstone.
I mean, that is a good idea, but I really have to stress they're going to be very one-track mind on this whole goddess returning thing.
Oh,
And, the whole your life is a lie thing is probably going to be a very difficult pitch. But I'm kind of.
perhaps it's my experiences with religious organizations is that perhaps they take very unkindly to challenges of the faith since it is part of their self-identity, both personal and group. However, if they come to believe a new self-affirming truth, that perhaps the only way to get to this goddess is through, say, oh, I don't know, Capstone, then perhaps
Oh, I
they
don't
can.
know.
Why instead we do not pitch that idea to them? That their past, what they used to believe was a lie, clearly, because now we have a new revelation.
I'm sort of. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm kind of morally objecting to that. Because you see, I've managed to kind of push through the religion barrier,
I see.
and so hopefully they're capable of it too. I think a problem is that my religion that I invented is a lot better than the one I was raised in. There's,
So we're
sexy
talking.
parts.
Oh, I see. Of course, sex is always very important to those who are believers in both self-aggrandizing and reproduction. Um, and well, perhaps, well, we can brainstorm ways of bringing your people, well, I say people, as in more of you, of course, into enlightenment that you have found. But I'm still interested in doing this while at the same time, how is a quaint phrase, taking it to the man, as it were.
Oh, look, they're going to be wanting to kill things, however the conversation goes. If it goes super badly, then I'll pretend that I'm king of Capstone or something. Should be
Ah,
fine.
but your first technique is to try to open their eyes, so to speak, to the truth.
I mean, I've
That
literally never tried telling the truth in my entire life, and so I'm going to give it a go.
truth can be useful, painful, but useful, yes. Well, we were dealing with situation here. Perhaps, hmm, do you have any suggestions how you personally would proceed against this entity now that you know how they operate and you dealt with
Oh,
them
what
before?
Capstone?
Yes, yes.
Well, you have sort of two main avenues.
Hmm.
Either you start making the real kachingas less efficient, less profitable, you grind down the top ones, or you do the big building strategy.
I I'm not familiar with the last one. I apologize.
Oh, any of these things, somewhere, there's always some big building, and at the top of it, there's a
Ah,
person. You can get it on the ground, and if you can kill like 1,000 heavily armed people, you can get to the top where the servers are and delete their mind state. And then when you kill them in the real world, they won't spawn. It's almost impossible to do. I've tried deleting people's mind states from the net before. It's very, very, very difficult. But I
just
believe that most things are possible in the world, other than things that aren't.
just give me a moment.
Let's go make a note. A real life, maybe real life capstone. Intergalactic.
Yeah, and definitely
Apologize.
is possible, very
machine.
difficult.
Sorry.
No worries.
It's okay. Yes. Well, perhaps there might be a middle ground between fighting through all these middlemen to get to the top. Perhaps if we could find a way to get you directly to the top, if you're interested.
Oh, sure. I mean, you can just put me in a cannon and launch me at their space station.
Ah. I was thinking more of a infiltration, but we'll chuck that up. And he sort of, you looked at the image in the mindscape, sort of turns to the side and makes a couple of motions like a cannon, whatever. Yes.
Oh, as well, this is my sort of my combat model body. I have other bodies that I use. It's just this one is kind of a bit abrasive and highly violent. I've got other ones if you want other strategies. It's just I kind of ended up having bad luck on being stuck on this one.
It's in a place that you have these bodies stored.
Oh, just anywhere I can re-sleeve.
Oh, oh
It doesn't always work, but you know when it does.
I have a resleeving machine.
Do I know that she has a resleeving machine? Because I don't think I have one on the ship. The one prayer has many things, but I don't know.
Save them.
Would I know that as part of my debriefing of?
Yeah, I think that would be a roll to see whether or not you know whether or not they have.
That would be
which is
scan. A scan.
Search Mindscape.
It's a 7.
So yeah, rather than dicking around with the questions, yes, you know.
Okay. Well, I could put you in contact with someone who has that. I'm working on a deal with them at the moment. Some strangely adorable creatures that I'm dealing with right now. Well, anyway, and so he checked his head, like the idea of these cute, adorable people just popped into his head, and it's like puppies and kittens. And no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. Perhaps I could ask.
You haven't seen us fight, so you don't know how terrifying we are.
Yeah. Well,
ineffective but terrifying.
I think we're about to find out.
I could ask them if you could hold just a moment. We have and I.
By all means.
And I connect to the adorable, cute little deer people, and see if they are willing to lend us their use of their reskinning machine.
Sure. I think a section of this mindscape that you have in conversation is like erupts into greenery, and they see like this, like one of the squeeze like resting on a stump, just like watching you. Like, yes.
I have a small favor to ask. It seems that you are in possession of a reskinning machine.
And they like look around nervously, like, we may have that.
Ah, yes. I apologize if I caught you off guard. A sudden burst of inspiration came up to me.
Who's your friend?
Ah, yes. The entity beside me is named Quasi.
Hello, buongiorno.
They quake a little bit, like a scared puppy that can't walk right.
Quasi here has some experience with Capstone, and in order to explore all our avenues of approach against them, he believes that if he could reskin himself into other identities, that he could discuss this matter fully. He probably also has information and memories that you could use as well. So we all benefit from this. Consider this as part of our treatment of sharing
Will they help
information.
us in the Great War and the uplifting of our needy friends?
Oh my!
Well, I think
I
he
don't
has
know.
to
I
work
mean,
on-
is it all based on a lie?
and I keep quiet, totally
There's-
quiet. It's
like the top eyes like close and then the bottom eyes open and they're like, all existence is a lie. We just have to decide what truth we decide is true.
Oh my! Okay. Okay, it's like
Dueling
looking in an
theocracies.
adorable mirror.
It's like a younger, more dear like you.
that sounds like a
We are
surprisingly interesting. Yeah, they are scientists.
We're only attacking because we were attacked. The massacre. And they shudder a little bit.
Oh well, that seems more agreeable.
Yes. We will assist you. Although your form is a bit complicated.
Well, I was actually, you're gonna laugh. I was just looking over my specs of my other bodies, and this is actually as charming as I'm capable of being. My other bodies are sort of smarter, but even less socially unabrasive than this.
You have so many spikes.
They're little feely boppers, they're functional.
Yes.
I can taste the air through them. It's quite pleasant.
And like a little tiny like tongue darts out and it's like, yes, okay. Alright, well, as long as you promise not to be a big meanie to us.
Sure.
Okay. We agree. And then there's like in the trees, there's like a chorus of like, we agree, we agree.
Nice.
Walking
Okay.
into a nightmare version of a Disney forest.
This sounds like a good place to cut, unless anybody has an objection, wants to
No.
has more they want to handle in the scene. Okay. So
Is the next scene like quasi hissing and emerging from a terrible machine?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I even am going to resleeve actually, because my other ones are more like thinky ones. This, shockingly, is my most charming and sociable body.
But we are looking for
I'm
ideas
excited
out of
either
time. Yeah. To deal with Capstone.
But I know I have a move to do. So.
yes.
Okay.
One moment first.
I have a debt to pay to the game system.
Yes. Well, I mean, you could look at it as a debt, or it
or just something that's owed. Wait, what?
You could also look at it as an opportunity to have your tiny cute people
to explore
begin...
frontiers that I wouldn't have considered.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't worry, I'm great at spin.
Yeah, to explore new worlds and kill people there.
But only if they do wrong to us, right?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, you're
we're
obviously
only reactionary because we're reacting.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously justified in whatever actions you take.
Yeah.
I think the intelligence agency is going to the Argus Initiative is going to start manufacturing consent against the Quiqui's enemies, since direct intervention by infiltration didn't exactly work. Step back a little bit and try to undermine them in other ways. I think that would be a move that they're going to make next time.
Okay.
After the break.
So Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, okay. So before we get into what the to the deal with the squee squee, I
Mhm.
think that uh, O. Henry goes
Mhm.
on start like broadcasts throughout the system. Um, this like uh, sort of details about the capture of these spies who are uh, obviously here uh, to disrupt legitimate authority, um, and
What?
uh,
What? How dare you, Slender?
and to this points out how uh, the uh, the the intelligence services throughout the Eschaton have entire have uh, this a horrifying lack of oversight, and something must be done. And yeah, if you
You gotta defend
Kurt, if you
against
could
it.
roll a resist outside influence, I think
Mm.
that's what's going down.
Who? Which? Who?
That would be me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Partial success.
Oh, for a thing. Okay.
So now we're
Go
stuck
to
talking in the Eschaton Sunday morning shows back and forth about you know totalitarian regimes versus the needs of security for the rest of the sector, and so basically we're locked into that
yeah.
conversation.
Okay. So do you yeah. Well, okay. I'm curious what your resistance to these propaganda efforts look like.
Oh,
Uh,
I
would
basically have a bunch of talking heads that I just go like, oh well, these are the Mindscape rooms that people talk about these things, and we're going to introduce ideas and talking points, and we're going to send public people who are going to basically they're going to talk in such a way that they to diffuse and neutralize in the sense of like, oh, but this is important, but no, this is this, and that this they do that, and this is just a some corner of the galaxy we're not really cared about and not very important. But if we were too important, no, Henry really is a tyrant, and our job is to protect people from tyrants. But we don't do anything like that. Very vague experts
hmm,
who have a lot of titles, but they come from University X, Y, or C, and some a new a newspaper, person who does well, the equivalent of a newspaper or whatever news outset. They do basically a media blitz, right? But
sure.
no one is like an active member like that. Maybe someone is a X something other from another
Hmm.
agency, like from
Oh, for
another
sure.
planet, something like that. So it's like kind of create manufacture that consent around the idea that this is completely pointless and useless, and there's nothing really to see here. Not even acknowledging that these people were capturing later. So this is just
Like whatever. But what about
what
this?
what what are these people talking about? Reform? Come on, that's you know.
So, do choose one from me advancing a clock, starting or advancing a clock that will add or remove an organization descriptor from uh, I'm blanking on the name. From Argus, uh, or losing morale. I don't think you
No, we already took a hit on morale,
can.
so
Clocks, clocks, clocks.
I think it's gonna be clocks. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so just a relevant
Clock.
clock or descriptor clock.
I think it's gonna be more of a descriptor, because the agency has been partially exposed, so that's something you can't really take back. You can't go back into the shadows completely. So it's like the NSA exists. What they do, we don't know, but now everybody knows that it exists. So you can't call it. You can't call it the
There
no
is such an
agency
agency.
anymore. There is
It's
such
not
an
no
agency.
such agency.
Exactly. So it's kind of like that situation, right? So I think it's descriptive. Yeah.
Cool. What? It's for. I think that they are. Oh well. I think that what they're gonna do is sort of the bidding of Capstone. They're gonna be all now that you are revealed, you should conform to capitalist norms like everybody.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So, the now we open up on Pterodon in the forest, uh, hearing about how a bunch of Squee Squee have gotten word that that gotten word of the probable location of the rest of the kidnapped and experimented upon Squee Squee, and they want to fight. They
Yeah,
want to liberate the
absolutely.
place right now.
Understandable.
Yeah, yeah. So you would be so kind as to roll a direct conflict. Let's see how that goes.
I think it's gonna go grip up. I think we're really strong this year, and we got a lot of support from our friends and family, and it's this is ending well. As my character sheet will take a second to open. I'm just gonna talk about how our spies are really good. We got a good batch from the vats this year.
From the vats. Oh, and actually, before you roll it, do you want to want to roll actually it, or do you want to like the old version, or do you want to roll the new 2d10 version?
What's the difference, Bob?
One. Okay, so the 2d10 version.
Let's test the new one.
Is new. That's the main difference.
That's what we're here for.
Back to you, Bob.
Okay. And essentially, it gives you probably gives you more options.
Tell me what to do.
Okay.
Direct my guide my hand.
So, to do this, uh, let's first verify. Make sure that you're getting the right bonus to the roll. Since it's not automatic, actually I have to look it up. Okay, so I believe I believe you're just rolling 2d10 plus your control of 1.
All right. 2d10 plus 1.
And make a new handout
Oh,
for
that's not. All right.
direct conflict.
Is that what I do? Maker of rules, decider of destinies.
Yes, yes.
Shall I roll these
And
dice?
there should be a
Deliverer
handout
of
that
pizzas.
popped up. Yeah.
I shall enter the minds.
Nice.
Nice.
I
Okay.
got a billion.
So yeah, that's gonna go pretty well.
We've learned.
Yeah.
When we
Nah.
prepare, I mean, we do really cool action movie stuff. It's just we got caught off guard that one time.
Yeah. I mean, they like wandered into your territory, whereas this time you're like
Sauntering
okay.
into theirs.
Yeah, like organized might be overstating it because it's like this spontaneous attack. But
We have plans.
but you do have at least like tactical initiative. So do you have the handout for new direct conflict?
I don't, unless it's in roll 20.
It is.
I can't open other tabs because my computer is breaking.
It is in roll 20. It's,
Okay. In that case, I will slowly kick the. Oh, here it is. I've been shared.
cool.
One from table B.
Yes.
Table B.
Yeah. So the oh well, okay. So it's them doing on their. I guess. Yeah, you can choose which of the two options. But I think because I'm. This is because of the whole nationalism thing. If you do choose the second option where you propose a lesser objective, I will propose the lesser objective.
No,
but it's pretty straightforward.
I'm moving to make them ineffective against me.
Okay.
Don't be silly. This is war.
What you want me to not be silly?
That's tiny, adorable war. Hey, kids. You tried war?
Have you tried the smell of napalm in the morning? It's wonderful.
Smells like, or tastes like victory.
That and Mr. Pearl's instant coffee are exactly what I need to get up and get going with my day. Nothing like a heady stack of war and a pyramid of bacon.
I'm listening.
My missus got my favorite selection of smokables on the table, and by gosh, it's great to be alive.
I'm just going to put it as Destroy O. Henry. Damn. Remove, it went well. Okay, so Pterodon. Or Pteranodon. What are you doing?
So, is this my I get my people out situation?
So, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I should describe a little bit more of what's going on.
Yeah, because you said I found out where my people are. I want to go,
Okay.
and then I succeeded doing that thing. So,
Okay, so what?
it seems like that's not the case.
No. What this looks like a little bit more is that they like found out where they think they are, and marched in, shooting tongue darts and being adorable to guards and resistance until all of a sudden, oh no! And they do like a lot of damage to the resisting forces, especially like there's also.
Because I have an alternative suggestion. If it's not about getting my people out, maybe we like assess the situation. And like my SEAL team, Squee Team 6 is like amped up and ready to go. But I'm like, no. These things must be handled delicately. And what I do is, with a bunch of live streaming things, we go to protest and plead to have our people be let out at this secret facility. And then, oh no, things go wrong. And the way the videos look, it's like, oh, Henry barely provoked like a peaceful resistance, and they brought military force down on it, and it's damaged them media based and not physically on their base, which is why the clock was started. Like their ability to, like it's a PR debacle.
Okay.
That'd be a social move, like initiating consent, because you want to get people on your side by making a social
statement.
So you can
I'm damaging them immediately. Like the effect is the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely put a spin on what happened, and like initiate a propaganda offensive, so that that's the information that goes out, but the actuality on the ground, based off of the whole nationalism thing causing direct conflict, it is in fact like physical conflict. It's you had succeeded in degrading their defenses.
Sure. But what it looks like is a different thing. Like it was definitely like our people set off the first explosion, or like it was just out of like all these cameras. They would have seen if they had done something wrong, but they were all like, there was a blind spot in the feed, like if you ever reconstructed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is certainly possible, but this is another role. This is I think assert political pressure.
Okay, so direct conflict has to be a physical interaction, not just
it
a.
Is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Like you can set the objective to be something other than just like complete military destruction. It can be like recapturing your people, or something like that. But it does involve a physical military confrontation.
Okay, so wait, are you saying that I could recapture my people? Because you just said I couldn't recapture my people.
The role can be used to do that, but
well, then I would like to do that. Like that. That was my goal.
Okay.
And then you're like, no, you don't get your people. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, well. I'm sorry. Okay. So, back when it was from when you're choosing a thing from table B uh, on the direct conflict thing. Uh, there you had the choice of doing the 4 o'clock to that uh,
Oh, so
the end
that's
of
the
which cause.
interpretation of those.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So
So that 4 o'clock that is specifically destroying their ability to resist you, like
okay.
their overall. Um, the other option is propose a lesser objective, um, which
I could use the 4 o'clock and use the effectively oppose you by removing the squeeze that they're doing research on that will lead them to
okay.
oppose us with the genetic machine.
May I interject, perhaps?
Sure.
I have an idea. Since the Quickly is so cute, in fact, what happens is that the attack is fully filmed, and what looks like it looks extremely embarrassing because these tiny little things just overran and just handed the asses of of the security forces. And on top of them, when they retrieve the people, you can see they have lacerations and they have been mistreated. So people are like, oh my god, not only did these guys get punked by a bunch of little creatures that are so cute and adorable, but also they were doing horrible things to these cute and adorable creatures, right? In fact, having everything on camera is like you were not only justified in attacking, and you embarrassed them by how much you handed their asses to them. But on top of that, when they discover that you're pulling your people out, it's like, oh, by the way, this is why we did it. It's like a double whammy. It is a direct physical force that destroys facilities and disrupts the research that we're doing and kill their people. And you can have, on top of that, the media influence by framing it that way. An act of nationalist liberation against the evil oppressor of cute little enlightened creatures.
Brad.
So,
just a suggestion.
Yeah.
That's
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I
mean, getting that effect of the PR win, it would be a separate role. It'd
be
like
another role. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and if you want the let me see.
Let's do the first roll first.
Okay. Yeah. Totally.
Like
so yeah, we can still do the other choice from table B, which is the lesser objective. But again, I would get to choose that lesser objective. It might be just recapturing your people. I mean, that seems like what they want, but I don't know. I might decide to be an asshole. I don't know.
Well, I would propose the objective.
Okay.
And you can veto it. That's
okay.
what it says.
Yes. It's only because this was originated by a need
You're
going off rather than you
taking
taking the action that I would get to choose rather than you.
Well, so what the rules say is that you tell me who to make a move against. I mean, I may have misread something, but does it? Do you get to decide how I make that move or the outcome of that move? Like, how much influence do you have? I thought you just picked the organization that I moved against.
Okay, that's a fair argument. Sure. So yeah, you can.
Sometimes I don't know if there's been changes to rules or if I'm misreading something.
No, that was just like an interpretation on my part, and doesn't necessarily reflect the correct reading of the rules. So yeah, I think that your point is well taken. So yeah, I mean, if you want to instead have this be a 2 o'clock to get your people back rather than to destroy all resistance, I'm fine with that. Is that what you want?
I'm still. Give me a second. I'm thinking over the
okay. And
what the table clocks mean. I just need a second to think about stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if
you can't see my thinking face because my camera's down.
Yeah. And if I'm being at all unclear, let me know and I'll try and put it in other words.
I'm notoriously bad at interpreting this rules in the way that you interpret the rules. So.
Okay. Well, there's the that's understandable. Like there's both there's a bunch of rules. There's changes over time.
It's a game
there's
in
a lot
flux.
to work.
It's being developed.
Yeah. It's in development. There's a lot that could cause misunderstandings. But I want to be fair
methodically, so I can think about it clearly. My choices are either to start a 4 o'clock that ends there, or so you're saying the 4 o'clock would have to be a purely physical assault on this facility.
Okay. So either way, it's going to be a physical assault.
Sure. I understand that.
Okay.
I want to make sure I have that defined.
Sure.
So it's a physical assault,
mm-hmm.
and the only way I can take advantage of that without a second roll, there could be a second roll, is to say I just do my Squee Team 6 and overrun them or destroy a lot of things physically, whether or not it's filmed or not, and that starts at 4 o'clock, so it makes them less effective to oppose me. This does not get me my people back, and this does not get PR done. This has nothing to do with being videotaped. So that's one of my options, right?
Yes. But I should specify that, that if you do fill out that full 4 o'clock, they won't be able to oppose you at all. So you would also, once it is fully filled out, get your people back, because they can't stop you from doing anything.
Sure. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Makes it clear. Alternatively, a lesser objective requiring a single hit or a 2 o'clock. What does a single hit mean?
That means success here, choosing that option will either mean that you get your people back right now, or you'll be halfway there. And that's I'll just state, I think that I think that's a targeted enough objective that it wouldn't be a 2 o'clock. You would just get your people back.
All right. In that case, I will choose getting my people out.
Okay.
And then if I could steamroll that into the PR roll of, I'd look at my character sheet, but when I click it, it takes a second to shift. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So is that let's see, what would enacting the, so we made a decision on that chart B. We've definitely gone with get my people out. But what would doing the whole video scheme thing like?
Okay.
You tell me what I have to do,
okay.
And I'll spend 20 minutes figuring out what that means.
Some of the things you could do with that PR offensive would be to start at 2 o'clock that adds or removes a descriptor from O. Henry's organization. You could do start at 4 o'clock that would send him into schism.
Well, what would I have to click? I mean, what's the move that I'm making here?
Oh, assert political pressure.
Okay. So I should try that first. So I've got my people out, but I need to roll to see how effective the media is, because I haven't rolled for that yet. So
yes,
I want to obey the dice, as always. Our great and mysterious masters of fate.
Okay.
So I'm asserting political pressure then. All right. Just.
I think we already described what that's what the attempt is looking like. So
yeah,
good. Okay, so any of
show up any second.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So you got a 7.
Oh, hooray!
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
So you can do stuff. Again, you can do the 2 o'clock to add a descriptor to O. Henry, 4 o'clock to start him into schism, or you can cause him to make a temporary policy change. And if you were a PC, you could cause him to lose morale. And then you'll also have a negative, like there'll be either losing morale, I advance a clock, or you get unwanted attention.
Sure. Well, I don't think we have enough clocks. I think you should start a relevant clock.
Okay.
Fill the skies with clocks. They'll all come at the same time. It'll be fine. And I think I'm going to, and that's for the option of miss. And I think I'm going to do a temporary policy change on the organization.
Okay. So not more clocks.
So you're going to advance a relevant clock. Sorry, the word clock is said a lot of times in that
yes
little box. So you're going to advance a relevant. Sorry, and they're going to have a temporary policy change.
Okay. So before I advance a clock, what policy change are you demanding? What are you pushing for here?
One that would fit, like, well, it says policy change, but is there like a chart I should look on for policy change, or is it like generic descriptor of policy change? Like,
so it's like the organization descriptors, like autocracy or theocracy and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or
is it something like
this is not a new descriptor. This is this is more in story what what you want O. Henry to do.
Sure. So it's a narrative.
Yeah.
All
totally.
Right.
I misspoke. I apologize.
No worries. That was my concern too. That it was another chart that I had to look at and decide on.
Nope. Enough charts.
All right. So let's charts. So what I think is their policy change becomes one of, so the video went out of just like us steamrolling. So I think they have to how far can I push this? Set up they have to at least on the outside set up a sensitivity training bureau to deal with not just squee, because I care about all creatures, but other sentient life on the planet, which is working secretly towards my uplifting those beetle people. Yeah. So they have to start putting their energies towards that instead of the terrible squee hunting machine and war upon my people. Undeserved war. We're just researchers doing our very best to help the universe.
Okay.
And these terrifying rust monsters we found in the mountains.
Horrible.
They're the worst.
So yeah, very cool. They do indeed send out teams to assess the needs of the rust monster.
No, not rust monsters yet, because they're not uplifted. But once they become uplifted, they'll become like it's doing the umbrella, like, oh, here's the species of not us umbrella on the planet, so that when my beetle people are uplifted, I'm not telling them that I'm uplifting beetle people. They don't know that they like it covers a squee. Maybe there's like a tree people on this planet. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, anyone who's not O'Henry. It's a sort of sensitivity training for anyone who's not of their organization.
Okay. Yeah. They over O'Henry's objections, the his civil government decides that yes, this is this whole thing with the squee is looking bad. We need to start treating them better and make it apparent. Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's media twists coming from all directions.
Yeah.
Thanks to my new friend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and their media, there's a bunch of hand wringing over how the squee have been exploited, and it's terrible. We need to turn over a new leaf.
And a bunch of the tortured squee go on like a television interview circuit of like exposing the truth. Yeah.
It is sad that in our modern times we have to deal with the remnants of colonialism and imperialism, but we are turning a new leaf today.
Believe it
right now
or not.
And on the underside of that leaf is a terrifying squee with gecko hands just clinging to it.
So what also happens in this is that of the proto rust monsters that are on the verge of sentience, they to some degree like information about the liberation of captured squee people is communicated to them, and this whole idea of
we're making the world better for everyone, including you.
Yeah, and they believe it. They're like, oh yes, you are making the world free or better, and we should be.
Eat this gun.
And that just the idea of freedom really catches on within them. They're that again, they're still like on the edge of sentience, but they're like really close.
Sure, it's like when a dog figures out how to open a door to outside, and then like they go and then they come back every day. Yeah. I know what's going on.
Or it might turn out like the cat. You install a new cat door, and they go through the door, and then they realize they don't know how to go back.
Yeah.
And so they meow loudly
like outside.
Like
meow meow meow.
Like, you stupid cat, the door you went through.
Yes. We are installing a cat door to freedom. All right. Is that my goods? Are my goods done?
Yeah.
All right.
So, before we go to Kurt, I need to throw in a little something.
A break scene before break, or to Kurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. We should probably just go to. Let me do a like a mini scene, and then we'll break, and then we'll go to the Joker. And I need to like before I would just pick something out of my head. Now I'm actually looking over the notes I made on. Actually, not even notes. It's like full sentences and everything on MC moves. And it's here. I think
Go on.
So, let's see. Just need to look at a thing. Okay. Uh, so, Jakurt, you notice in your inbox,
Mm-hmm.
or your virtual inbox, a bunch of uh, official requests from uh, you know, Argus personnel
Mm-hmm.
for leave.
Mm. That's not good. Okay. How can I counter that? Check my head mail. That's just a social move. So
And it's not like everybody, but it's like a a
a trend.
significant
There's a
number of people
trend.
just
Yeah.
want to they want to go do something stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about because I do have these dirty tricks. I was thinking that maybe fomenting a rebellion because I have a bonus to that. Is that a move I can make? An organizational move? Playbook move? Yeah. It's like I said, okay, I'm gonna put them on the field and go and do your dirty tricks against Henry to get back at why they captured our we try to be sneaky and also help in with the squeaky and facilitate that and show that we're in fact supporting them since our first move didn't work. Is that a good counter move for them to get things to? I mean, they want to do something, so let's make it this.
Sure, I don't have a problem with that. But so if you could set the scene a bit, what does this look like? How are you
Oh,
going about this?
basically, I call everybody both virtually and physically to a room, right? And it's like, because we have a situation, it's very, ladies
Oh
and
wait,
gentlemen.
I'm
So
actually
go
shoot.
ahead.
I'm sorry. We were going to go to break first, so
Yeah.
let's definitely uh, jump into how you're looking to counter this whole vacation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After the break. Uh,
Okay.
so we will be back shortly. Please stick around and/or uh, look for and click on the second half of this episode so that you know you can check
After
out the
these
coolness and see
messages,
what happens.
we'll be right back.